Podcast. My name is Brittany Cooley, and I am your host. Today, I have a very special guest with me, the first guest interview on my podcast, Jamison Reeves. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for dragging me right out of my comfort zone to this.
You're welcome. So, this podcast is all about, my life is all about using your struggles as your strengths and, creating something amazing out of the hard shit that you've been dealt. And you have played a huge part in my transformation this year, whether you want to take credit for it or not. But I, just from doing your coaching and just getting to know you as a person and being able to work with you and creating Orion Focus Consulting and everything that we've got going on, it's been crazy, but it's, you have been an exponential part to that and helping me kind of cut out all of the bullshit and just focus on my goals and what I want and kind of getting me out of my own way. And you're very good in doing that with people in general. So I think my first question for you, or we can just jump right in, is, what made you the way that you are? I think a lot of it had to do with your father and how you were raised. So can you talk a little bit about how you grew up and why you have that tattooed on your arm?
Well, I guess I could blame him for that too, but indirectly. My dad was a workaholic, no bullshit kind of guy. Everyone loved him. I don't think you could find a single person on the planet that didn't like him, whether you were right or wrong. He always made things right. But he worked his ass off, and I remember when I was 6, the whole custody battle with my mom, and he wanted me to live with him. And I chose to live with him for some reason. I don't know. I could do whatever I wanted at Mom's house. At Dad, there's rules. You had chores. There was cyclables. You had a curfew. When I wasn't in school, I was working because he was working, and that's how it was. So my dad, it's crazy to me to realize it now that I'm 34, but he definitely taught me literally everything that I am today, everything that I try to be anyway. It's just him. It's a new and improved version of him, and a lot of it is because of him. So it sucks that he's not here to kind of enjoy this with, but I know he wouldn't want me to lay in my bed and do nothing, so I'm going to do everything. And that's kind of where I'm at. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, you do everything. Talk about that for a little bit. You run Decatur's Automotive.
Yep.
You own that.
Owner-operator of automotive, mechanical, and collision repair center. I bought that 7.5 years ago. 2015, May of 15. Bought that. Have been growing that as my main motivation. It's all everything. I poured my heart and soul to that for the last 7.5 years, and that's going really well. And then this year I decided to branch out. I bought a couple rentals. I have 5 actually. Yesterday I signed my last agreement for my 5th rental unit.
Reeves Real Estate.
Yep, Reeves Real Estate. Hopefully next year we do double that. That's my goal. So, yeah, and then obviously this, Orion Focus Consulting, takes up less of my time than it should right now, but I'm transitioning. It's hard not to be at Decatur's. Mm-hmm. I love that place. That's where everything started, well, after my dad, of course, but being on my own. So that'll always be, home base for me.
For sure.
I have a hard time pulling my weight. Even though I have employees there that I trust and I know are taking good care of the business, it's still, you can ask them, they try to kick me out of the building all the time. So that is probably not going to change, but I am definitely going into 2023 trying to emphasize more on this and helping people, I guess, what it boils down to. I don't know. And
you genuinely love helping people. I think you get some kind of satisfaction from this that you don't at Decatur's, which is why I think that
it's different. I help people there too, but it's in a different capacity. I've helped. I don't need to talk about it, but I've done tons of things for people that I otherwise wouldn't because of Decatur's. I had the ability to, not charge a single mom for tires at Christmas time or whatever. And I've done stuff like that just because I can. And I think it's, you know, a little bit of greed makes me feel good to help people. Therefore, I help more people. But I'm only doing it because it makes me feel good. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But yeah, that's how OFC started. I was just helping friends and family for free, taking my time to help them lose weight for no particular reason. I wasn't getting paid in any shape or form with my.
And everyone got results. It was following your coaching.
Oh yeah, I mean, amazing results. Just doing what I told them to do. Everyone did, and that's where you came in. Yeah. You had amazing results, and then I was like, "How did you do that?" So that's. I mean, we can talk about that. How this OFC thing has been born. But
I remember the day I asked you. I was like, "Can I tag you on Facebook?" And you're like, I'm like, "But do you understand what's gonna happen when I do that?"
I'm like, nothing. I've been tagged before by people. It's a big deal.
Well, he learned real quick. Yeah. And I don't know, it's funny to see how you're very confident in what you know and your knowledge base and everything indicators. You're very knowledgeable. You're a problem solver. You have the solution to every single problem anybody throws at you. You're very good at diminishing the emotion out of it and creating something for action steps for them to do, and then it goes away. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've really learned from you this year as well. But I think what I want you to talk about more is how you're able to connect with people to have them do that.
I'm again displace all the credit onto my dad. You can pull any one of a number of people. You know, my brother, his wife, my aunt, my wife, anybody that knew my dad well. That was just, he had a very good ability to communicate. And he liked to help people. So, again, that's just what I saw as a kid growing up, is my dad going out of his way to help people when he could. And I remember a time when we were I was 7, he had $43 to his name. That's what he says. So I got $43. Well, when he died, he was a multimillionaire, self-made multimillionaire. And I got to see that. I get the privilege. It was legitimately, I feel it today, the privilege of knowing what having nothing is. You know, he fought for me to have custody of me, no child support. He never took a dime from my mother. He refused to. He never took a dollar from welfare. He would rather carve his own eyeballs out than take a penny from welfare. So I remember he's like, "Well, I got $43 to my name in my bank account. I don't know what we're gonna do." And through a series of events, he started his own business and created a countless number of ways to make money that made him be able to do the things he did. And I got to watch him every step of the way. I got to see the good, the bad, the ugly. The reason he had a heart attack at 52, or I forget how old he was. It was stressful, but he managed it well. When a problem was thrown at him, getting upset about it and wasting time being mad that it happened, at the end of the day, is always useless. It's a wasted time, you know. And I don't cry over spilt milk. It was a saying in my house that I now use with my kids. When my kids knock a drink over, which if you have kids,
they always
knock drinks over. And nothing is more frustrating than, a 6-year-old that knocks his drink over because he's being careless, right? If you scream at the kid and yell and get everyone hyper frustrated and mad and upset, you still got to clean the fucking milk up. So why not just clean the milk up and say, stop knocking the drink over. Please use, try to change how they're doing things. Yelling at them isn't going to help. And not that I'm not mean sometimes, not that I don't punish my kids, but crying over spilt milk is one of the prime examples of problems can't be solved unless you work on a solution. And it seems so I don't know, cliche that I'm even saying it, but looking back, all of these values, he didn't have the power of the internet. He didn't even have a fucking father.
Your dad.
My dad, yeah, he didn't have one. I don't know where he got all these values and all. Like I watch people. I share Jim Rohn quotes, and I listen to motivational people, and I've been reading more books. And he didn't do that stuff, but somehow he still had all these same. He was always positive, always looking for a solution, and to get to see that over the course of my life was a huge, manual on how to achieve the things you want to get, and that's what I try to apply. And now somehow I'm in the position, due to you pushing me off the ledge,
You're welcome.
Try to help other people do the same. So it started with weight loss. That's hopefully in 2023 going to grow into more financial stuff, life coaching, business development. You're doing the social branding. We're kind of branching out from weight loss, but the principles are always the same, whether it's weight loss, whether it's finance, whether it's social media. It's, there's work to be done, and bitching about the work that needs to be done
isn't going to do the work.
Least productive thing you can do. So
right.
I don't know. That was just how he raised me.
Yeah.
So it's easy to me. That's another thing. A lot of these things come easy to me. I can do like a carnivorous diet and decline other food, and like I can make a decision, and that's my diet I'm going to stick to, or this is my workout regimen, or this is my business investment idea. I'm confident in those things because I don't need someone else to tell me it's okay. So that was another thing. He just did whatever he wanted, whatever he felt was a good.
Fuck you want.
There's a running joke in our family. My dad would buy elephant food if it was on sale, and if he thought he could buy it for $1 and sell it for $2 next week, he would do that because he was always looking for ways to make money. So I don't know. It's just something that's kind of ingrained in me.
Yeah. I
was lucky. Very, very. I say it a lot, and I mean it. I'm the luckiest man alive, and it started with him.
Yeah. And it definitely shows. It definitely shows in everything that you do, not just in the coaching and your business and your family. I mean, you're like, a deity or something.
Well, listen. I still feel underaccomplished, and people are telling me, why are you doing this? Why do you do that? Now you're buying real estate. I've had people, family members, when do you ever sleep? And I'm like, I mean,
sometimes.
I don't sleep a ton, but I sleep enough, and I still feel like I could be doing way more. I just feel like there's still downtime. I look at my phone sometimes and I'm like, I was on TikTok for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So that I, who am accomplishing a lot for my age, and I know that it's not easy, but I'm doing it, and it feels kind of easy to me because I know I still have downtime.
Right.
So if I can do everything I'm doing and modify my lifestyle, helping people just make a few changes, it just seems easy to me. And with the confidence of how easy it is to change, your lifestyle, and some small changes, they go a long way over time. So, the confidence of, again, my dad in me makes the coaching part of things, which is very foreign to me, it just makes it easier. He was a good teacher, so.
Yeah, and then in return, you're a good teacher. I think something I want to kind of change directions here. Something I want to talk about, because a lot of my audience, I know you're not as familiar with the mental health space as me. Well, nobody really is. But something that you really helped change me, and I think that you can help more people that suffer from the mental health side of things like I do. You're really able to eliminate all of those blinders and things that hold you back and emotion. A lot of people, I'm diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I was diagnosed in 2012. Those of you who know, I attempted suicide in 2012 and lived. I've always struggled with anxiety and depression and all my childhood trauma and all that stuff. And you were really able to just, and I don't know what you did, if you're a wizard or you hexed me or something, but you were just able to dissipate all of that and keep me focused on what I was doing. And sometimes I got butthurt and sometimes I was, upset with you, but at the end I'd be like, fuck, he was right. But you're very good at helping other people see your perspective through your lens.
There it is.
So how do you do that? And because you did it with me, and you've done, and I will give you the credit right now, you've done in less than a year, I'll say less than a year, not even a year, in less than a year, for what I've been trying to do through professional mental health, psychiatry, everything for the last 20. You've helped me get through all of that. Can you speak to that?
I mean, the weird part is that I can't directly speak to that because I don't have those things. Luckily for me,
right?
My wife, she has to. She's been clinically diagnosed with depression. She's on medication for it.
Same.
I don't want to get emotional or anything.
Yeah, we don't do that around here.
But I've watched my wife go from, we were 15 when we met. We got together at 15, 16. We're 34 now. We've been together for damn near 20 years. And I've watched her go from a teen to, a college girl to a mother. And I've seen the depression. We call it, you're crazy. You got a crazy girlfriend? No, she's probably just not diagnosed as depressive yet. She's crazy. Yeah, she's crazy because she's dealing with things you don't have a single clue about.
Right.
So for me to say that I have an idea, I don't, but I've seen it. So, I mean, yes, in a sense, I understand it a little bit better than most. But it took me a long time. And same with her. Depression is literally worrying about the things you can't control a lot of times.
Right.
Or not fixing the things you can.
Right.
And that, again, sounds cliche, right? But boil it down, it always comes back to crying over spilled milk doesn't clean the fucking milk up.
Right.
So I approached it differently with my wife before I understood, and I was like, what is your problem? Just knock it off.
Get it together.
I said you,
Yeah.
you have a husband that cares about you. You have 2 healthy kids. We have a nice house. You got a brand new car. You have a job paying you 6 figures. And they love you. And it's easy. Can you please explain to me what you have to be upset about? And she said, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I have nothing to be upset about, yet I'm upset.
Right.
So forever, for the life of me, I'm like, what? Just get over it. Don't take the medication. You don't need it. And once I realized I've never felt as sad as she feels.
Yeah.
Or has felt, or feels on a regular basis. I've never even come close to feeling that way. It's hard to wrap your mind around. So I just know that
It's debilitating.
well,
completely.
I again, 10 years ago, I would have said you're just lazy, or
Right.
you're just weak, right? But it's no different than, and I tell my wife this all the time, it's no different than a diabetic taking an insulin.
Correct.
Is
yeah.
there
yeah,
treatment
the headache,
for it?
you take ibuprofen.
Yeah, I mean, I have diabetic clients, right? Is there treatment for diabetics? Yeah, it's insulin, it's this, it's that, it's metformin, or we can change their lifestyle, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no medical professional, but I've seen diet and exercise vastly improve somebody's mental state to a point where medication may not be necessary. I mean, is that dangerous to say? But so I don't know. For me, there's positivity always wins. Working towards
Productivity is the best endorphin booster.
Right.
I mean,
So,
I am in such a better
whether it's
mood.
working out, or whether it's working on your job, whether it's working on your second job, your side hustle, whether it's cleaning your house, whatever, production, moving, getting your blood flowing, getting your heart rate above 120, once a day. That's why it's part of my program for my one-on-one clients. Like, I don't ask for much in the way of exercise, but 5 minutes a day with a heart rate over 120. It makes you feel fucking alive. It makes you feel human. People that are depressive are often very sedentary, right? They want to lay in bed all day. They don't want to move. They don't want to groove. They don't want to talk to nobody. They don't want to see anybody. You got to go do those things. So I don't know. I've helped people with the conditions you're speaking of, and there's tons of names for it, of course. It's all kind of wrapped into the same mental health sphere, but for me, working on doing something to make yourself happy is far better than medication. And it's same with like therapy. I used to think therapy was bogus too. Oh yeah, therapist. Why do they make so much goddamn money? Well, they're really valuable to people that need them. I just never have needed one. My dad gave me this mindset of do it yourself, which is not always great.
No.
There's a lot of downsides to it too. But all in all, I still feel like I would much rather have the optimism than the pessimism. And I got the optimism, and not everyone did. Mm-hmm. So that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's
giving my perspective is always, in a brighter light, and sometimes it helps people immensely.
Yeah.
And I never realized
because I think a lot of, and I do this, or I try not to do it too much anymore, but I create these like fake scenarios in my head and make everything way worse than it is. Fear is false events appearing real or whatever. Right. And it's almost like you know how to call people out on that.
Well, because it's like, again, I'll keep busting out the cliches. Face your fears, right? Well, like most people that are financially inept, it's because they don't want to look. They don't want to sit down and bust the books out and say, "Why the fuck am I broke?" It's like it's like everybody I've ever helped with finance, and it's a lot now. They're just petrified to even look the problem in the face.
Yeah.
And for me, I can't understand. Like the first thing I want to do when I get presented with a problem of, hey, I'm overdrawn. Why?
Yeah.
It's what the hell happened?
Right.
And why am I overweight? Well, let's look at your.
What are you eating?
Let's look back.
What are you
last 30
Are you
days,
moving
last
your
60
body?
Days,
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you're spending money at McDonald's. Not only is that making you overweight, but you're wasting money. When you dissect it and you work on a solution, it just makes things easier for me. It just moves things along, and no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
I've had people that are nearly bankrupt, not knowing how to get to the next month. Mm-hmm. And I've had people that are, extremely obese. Mm-hmm. And to think this mountain of work needs to be done. Why start? It'll never get accomplished. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's always small steps over time in the correct direction. And to me, that's just second nature, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's totally true. When you were like, I was like, okay, my finances have been a mess for years. Yep. I really fucked up in my 20s, and then, I just kind of ignored it and hoping it would go away, and it doesn't go away, But I also avoided it. I never sat down and did a budget. I never learned how to. I just, kept moving forward and kept spending money and wasn't intentional about where I was spending my money.
And now we have the ability to mortgage our future for today, credit cards or, equity in a vehicle. You can borrow money today that you don't have to pay back tomorrow, and it's a vicious cycle.
Right. So I remember you're like, all right, pull up your Credit Karma, and I was like, no, because I hadn't opened it in like 5 years. I was like, no, I don't, because I know I had things in collections. I thought my credit score was a 500. Like I thought it was like, and I opened it and I was like,
wait, it's not that bad.
It was like a huge, it's not like great or anything to be proud of, but it is not what I thought it was. And my collections is like $10,000 less than what it was 5 years, know? So
it's again
looking at the problem actually makes you feel better. It removes the power from it. Like you take your power back.
I think it's the beast is always bigger in the book.
Yeah.
Than when you actually face it in real life.
Yeah.
It's always if you build it up. So then you look at it and like, oh shit, okay, I need to do these 5 things in the next 30 days. Get rid of this collections. Do this, work on this, pay this down, or whatever.
Well, it's very simple, just writing out a budget. And it's just something I never learned how to do. I grew up with a scarcity mindset. There was never enough. I never had enough. So I've always scraped. I've scraped not just with money, just with people, and like nothing is ever forever. There's no such thing as stability. That's how I was raised. I never had anything last. Right. Like everything I had was taken from me. So you helped me kind of remove all that and just I think you gave me the power back. You're like, no, you're in control of this. If you want to be stable and you want to improve, like, just do it. And I was like, oh. It's so simple, but I felt so stupid. But fun. Some people just can't, like, I just couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't come to that conclusion on my own because and that's the other thing I wanted to, like, I have authority issues, as you know. Nobody can tell me about me. Nobody can tell me what to do. I know everything. I can't depend on anybody.
Most of my clients do.
I'm very, very independent, and I'm fine with that. But everybody needs somebody, and everybody needs a mentor. And even at my highest high back in 2015, when I was like superstar Beachbody coach, and like I needed somebody then. If I had somebody then like you, like I would be much further, much faster. But I was just like, I don't need to listen to anybody. I know everything. I'm, But it came to like I just got to that breaking point where I felt like I was just like sitting, like I was just defeated, like sitting in your living room. And I'm like, okay, like what is this? Just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Like I'll do it because I see everyone else getting all these great results with you, and was just like,
Well, and then like, the weight loss led to the finance, and then the finance, you know what I mean?
I know. So, and I was very resistant to that. I was like, nope, I don't want you to know that part about me. I don't want you to know that about me. You're not going to look at my finances. Because that's something that makes me feel much less than you, like very insignificant, because you are very, 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 and I'm very not, so
listen, everyone's been dealt a different set of cards. It doesn't make me any better or worse than you, so I never looked at money that way.
But now I feel, I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but, I feel more comfortable and in control and stable.
So,
and that's something that I haven't had, like...
How much would that contribute to, your mental state? If that's, if that's grinding on your head all day,
and it has forever.
I don't know how I'm going to pay.
And now it's like all my bills are paid, and everything.
You always seem to figure out how to make it work, but it's, you got to beg from Peter to pay Paul.
Stressful, yes.
Hope that your paycheck hits in time.
Yes.
So, but that mental, that's looking at back, because I used to be like that. It's mental torture, because it's all you can think about. It's a cloud over, and no matter what,
every
decision that's made is clouded by. Everyone wants to go out for beers after work, and I'm broke, or just whatever. That's how I don't want to go to dinner with my brother because it's going to be really expensive, and I don't want to spend that money. I don't have it.
Right.
But we go anyway, and we put it on a credit card.
Right.
And that just adds up and adds up and adds up. So you just kind of hide it. You kind of hide away, and you're just like, well, I'll mortgage the future. And it's something I did too. I mean, I've made plenty of financial mistakes, but the funny part about the financial side of things is that's probably the one thing I can't give my dad credit for. He was horrible with money, and I don't say. Let me reel that back a little bit. He never saved a dime, never. He borrowed from Peter to pay Paul. He was stressed about payroll. Every other week he didn't know how he was going to make payroll or whatever. And it seems like it was probably way less often than that, I'm sure, but it was very stressful. He never saved for times of need. He would just keep borrowing money and paying it back. And it wasn't until I met a guy by the name of John. I don't know if you want me to say his name. Who knows? Anyway, those who know him well. He's a very frugal old man that I play racquetball with. And he's loud and boisterous, and he's a single guy in his 60s. And he's single for one reason only, is because women are too goddamn expensive. And I'm like, what? He told me that, and I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, I figured there was some story. And no, he's just the cheapest man alive. He's just, everything that he thinks about, anything you talk about with him, is broken down to how much it's going to cost. And it wasn't until I met him where I was like, yeah, I'm making a ton of money, in my 20s. I got a whole lot to show for it. Like, I waste a lot of money, and every time we'd go out to eat somewhere, he'd be like, holy shit, this is that expensive, and he'd tell me he turns his hot water heater off 3 days a week.
So crazy.
He would pay bills two months at a time to save the stamp. He calculated, how many envelopes he had to buy for the year, and how many times he goes to the laundromat because of how much it goes on and on. And so my dad, who wasted a ton of money, lots of money a lot of times, was the exact opposite. So I was these two polar opposites, and I'm just, every time I even want to talk to him, we want to talk about cars, he would be like, well, it's this much money, and we want to talk about going out to eat. Well, where's the cheapest place to eat? And everything revolved around it, and it really taught me to be just a little more wise. He is on the so extreme, like he could go buy a brand new any car, any vehicle he wanted. You just pay for it, and probably in stacks of hundreds, or at least write a check. And he drives like a 1998 Chevy Suburban. And he wears normal clothes, and like you would never know, but he's got his financial situation is set for life. And my dad, on the other end, was begging for Peter, paying Paul, mortgaging and stuff. So two total ends of the spectrum, which I think I've kind of find a happy medium. Make good money, save good money, enjoy the money you're making kind of situation. So it is a weird kind of mashup of being financially thoughtful. And where my dad wasn't. So I don't know. I've kind of blended it all into, if you're going to help somebody with weight loss, if they're going to be open enough with their personal life about weight, finances are no different, and the remedies are often the same. Calculate what it's going to take over the next X amount of days to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
If you're trying to save up to buy a house, do you have a plan?
Right.
Okay, if you're trying to lose weight, do you have a plan?
Right.
What's your plan for the next 30 days? How many meals are you going to eat? How many times are you going to work out? And if you just think, sometimes it's great to write it out. I have clients that write it out in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Plan their meals in advance. Plan the whole calendar. Let me see it. Show it to me. And then they'll show it to me. And then it's done. And they don't have to make the decisions.
Right.
But they have a plan in place, and they get to where they want to go. They lose the weight they want to lose, or they build the muscle they want to build. They save the money they want to save. It's all the same. So it's kind of grown into being confident enough. As you know, I don't want to be on this fucking podcast. That's being confident enough to spread the word and share the message. So because of you, you've kind of pushed me into this space, and that's where we are.
Well, that's where you belong.
Podcast.
That's where you belong.
Okay, if you say so.
I know so. Before we go, I want you to kind of define. So you've got no half measures tattooed on your arm, and that is kind of your I don't know, your motto, your life motto, and doing everything in full measures is really, it's something that I've embodied to be part of mine as well. And everything, like when I open my laptop password to log into my computer is no half measures, because it sets me into the mindset of what I need to accomplish. Mm-hmm. I need to be focused. I need to set intention. I need to be productive. So just before we go, talk about that.
So I wrote about this a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
you have a blog.
You put some
it's
stuff
on your blog.
On my blog.
OrionFocusConsulting.com/blog. That's where you can read it.
There's our plug. So that boils, again, credit back, Dad. He would say all the time, if you're going to be a gas pumper, be the best damn gas pumper in town. And when he said it to me, when I was 12 or whatever, I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, Dad. I don't want to pump gas.
No interest.
What are you talking about? But if you boil that down, if you're going to do something, do it the whole distance. Do the full thing. Try the whole thing. If you're going to jump in and try something out, try it, push it. Force yourself to do it. So that, with this, and obviously with working out and losing weight and saving money and starting a business and starting a new business and buying rental, it's all the same thing. If you're going to do it all the way. And then the actual phrase, no half measures, came from a episode of Breaking Bad, where it was about a cop, could have killed somebody and he didn't, and he turned around and killed the wife that he was beating every day, but he broke it down to, on that day, I took a half measure when I should have taken a full measure. So the terminology of, I should have did what I was supposed to do that day and I didn't. Just no half measures. And at the end of that little line, he says, no more half measures. Well, and they kind of really set the tone, and then that he turns into the mad scientist.
Yeah.
So no half measures. I started writing it down. I think I maybe even started using it as a password here or there or something. And then we were in Florida. Me and my wife were in Florida, and she wanted to get a tattoo, and I wanted something that was meaningful. And I think with these 3 words, it expresses a lot and explains, my motto, I guess, like you said. So that's why I got it. I need some touch-up work on it, but yeah, I like it. Yeah. I'm glad I got it. It's not a regrettable tattoo. Yeah,
for sure. We all have those. I do. I'm getting it covered up on my birthday. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight and wisdom, and thank you for everything that you've done and continue to do for me in my life. Obviously, I don't thank you enough, so I try to publicly thank you frequently.
I don't get the chance to do the same. So let me speak on that before we log off here.
Okay.
I don't publicly. Everyone knows what Britt does for OC. I don't get to publicly say it or show appreciation either. But without Brittany, OFC did exist. but it would still be a dormant website that I built just for fun one day, and it wouldn't be actually helping people. Wouldn't be actually being used as a utility to help other people. And even if that's a net zero financial gain for me ever, just helping the people that I've already helped, they would have never been in contact with me. I have a whole list here in my book. They wouldn't know my name. And because of you, I was able to help these people. So big shout out to you as well. And hopefully going forward we can keep growing this thing and help as many people as possible.
For sure. Well, you're welcome. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah.
Did we go over? Did we talk too much?
Bonafide Podcast. My name is Brittany Cooley. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you share it with all your friends. And don't forget to rate me 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We'll see you next time.